Hello everybody and welcome back to Magna Carta 2. Last video we made it to Dunan Hill, and in this video we are going to start the long climb towards Darkblade Fortress. One thing at a time though, however, we're just going to start by advancing on towards the first checkpoint. So in this area, I had given a little bit of strategy at the end of the last video, just before I ended things off. Just a couple of strategies that you can use. You of course want to make sure that you're all rigged up, you've got all the proper equipment, and you've got everything that you might need before starting this area. The soldiers are going to be quite tough. I find this area to be very difficult. I remember my first time through, I was thinking to myself about what a step up in difficulty it is, and you may find the same thing. However, you're going to get a lot of experience as you climb, and you have a lot of options to help yourself out, so that's quite nice. As we make our way towards the first checkpoint, we're going to see the Southern Army soldiers with the health bars, and these are the soldiers that we need to speak to for the quest that Raud had given us. In order to complete Raud's request, you not only have to save these soldiers from the Northern forces. After the Northern forces have been cleared out, you then need to speak to the soldier, and if any of the soldiers die, you will automatically fail the quest. So, saving the soldier isn't enough. You do have to speak to the soldier in order for it to count for this quest, which can be a little bit confusing sometimes, I think, and that's where some people may fail this particular quest. Because as soon as you hit checkpoint 1, I do believe that's when you lose your opportunity to finish this quest, and you'll sort of forfeit it at that point. And all that we're seeing here are going to be wizards and warriors for the most part. There are of course going to be regular soldiers. I do believe there are some archers. There's going to be some werewolves and a couple of other Northern Forces type soldiers that we've seen 100 times before. It's all the same thing. We're almost at the first checkpoint, and we've also now saved our 3 soldiers. So we finished that quest for Raud. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up this treasure chest here. I really hope I didn't miss any along the way, although I don't think I did. From what I remember, that area down there is pretty desolate. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the first checkpoint. Now, this checkpoint is fairly self-explanatory. You're just going to be fighting a lot of soldiers. The archers are going to fire arrows over the wall, similar to how they did at the Gate of Wailing. So you may want to try and draw the soldiers out a little bit if you can, just because going towards the wall may result in you being barraged by arrows, which isn't the funnest thing because of course the arrows will stun you. You can also use the bomb boxes nearby if you want to try and do a little bit of additional damage. The only thing to worry about with the bomb boxes is that you can also take damage from it as well.
Let's go.
And that can yield some very deadly results if you're not aware of that and you get caught.
Looks like we got through the first barrier.
Yeah, it was really tough though. I can't believe how many arrows they shot at us.
Archers sure don't know when to quit.
Hey, are you talking about me?
Not really.
Us archers are single-minded.
All right, we're advancing on checkpoint 2.
Alright, lovely. We managed to clear out that checkpoint. Once you've done that, of course, the pillar will be able to be used. They'll convert it from a Northern Forces pillar to a Southern Forces pillar. Raud will move. He'll move up the hill periodically as you clear the area out. And the supplier will also move. So if you need to stock up on any sort of supplies, then this would be the time to do so. I'm just picking up these couple of chests here around the area before we move on. I quickly saved at the pillar and now it's on to the next area. A couple of other things that I think I forgot to mention is that this area again is very notorious for causing the burn and fever status effects, so if you have those lovely earrings of Red Sparrow, you may want to equip those. And keep in mind, of course, that Crocell is also totally immune to any sort of fire status effect, and so he may be a good choice to have in battle if that's something that you are concerned about. And on the top right corner, you can see there that every single type of con generates in this area, which is very rare to see, and it's quite fortunate for you because if you have a preferred wizard that you like to use, any of them will be able to generate a fairly large amount of con in the area, not just Crocell. So you could use Celestine and you could also use Zephy if you wanted, and they would probably be able to keep up. They'd probably be able to generate enough con. I prefer to have Crocell just because he does have that natural immunity to the status effects, and also because he's a little bit tougher than Zephy and Celestine are. We're nearing checkpoint 2 already. There's not a lot of distance in between the checkpoints, so I'm just gonna mop up these few enemies here. And we're also coming up to a red check mark on the map that we're going to need to investigate as well. Once we clear out these soldiers, of course, because these guys never let up. And there are a lot of soldiers. And again, if you're having troubles at this point, or you get inflicted with fever or burn and don't really know how to deal with it, you can always return to the pillar and save, or just touch the pillar and restore your health. And that's a good way to restore your health without having to use any of the items in your inventory. Alright, I think all the soldiers are cleared out. Let's untie this guy. This is actually a Ruth. This is the man we're looking for, the Monster Scholar's grandson.
Alright, let's go!
And we need to speak to him in order to finish the quest to free him. And then once we've done that, we can speak to him again for the next quest in the side questing chain that we had started in the last video. And he's going to give us the documents. And so we're going to be able to return those to his grandfather back in Obizet. I'm going to just quickly make sure that Argo's not losing too much HP, and that status effect should wear off relatively soon. Shouldn't give me too much trouble, but I will try and be careful as I make my way up this next little hill here.
This is just a scratch.
We also got some cube mail that I'll need to check out. Alright, now that that's done, we are very close to checkpoint 2, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of changes to my equipment. When I was shopping in the last video for an accessory, I was looking for the Ring of Detoxification. Poison is a major problem with this next boss, and so I was hoping that I would be able to be a little bit more resistant to it from some of the other party members, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. I'm going to be able to equip Judo, and that's fine, but I still think that it's probably going to be a bit of an issue. But we'll deal with that as it comes. I may want to switch Celestine or Zephy into the party just to help me out in that regard. Just something to sort of think about. Trying to think of what to put on Zephy. I think that'll suffice. I've switched back to my regular weapons that I use just to make the boss battle a little fairer. I suppose what I'll try is I'll try switching in Celestine for Argo for this next battle. And we can check out our cube mail about Vecus. Vecus, guarding checkpoint number 2, is highly poisonous, so you have to be careful about poison conditions. Have plenty of antidotes ready for the battle. Also remember that Vecus is susceptible to cold. Good luck to the counter sentinel unit in the upcoming battle. So Raud has some very good information for us. Very helpful. Alright, and this is Vecus. And his 2 wizards, of course. I'm gonna go ahead and try and take out these wizards first, because they're a little bit of a pain. And hopefully Celestine is going to be able to help and inflict the cold status effect, which may slow the boss down a little bit, and every little bit will help. As for strategies for this guy, the thing you really have to watch out for is the poison that Raud had mentioned. Poison is incredibly deadly, and it takes away a lot of health. We haven't really had to deal with poison much. We only really ran into the poisonous worms back in Obizet, and the giant angler that we had fought in the undersea tunnel could also poison you. But we haven't really seen it to this degree, and it's capable of zapping your strength quite a bit, actually. And so if you have anything that will protect against poison, or anything that you think might help, then I would strongly recommend using any of those options that you might have available. It may be worth using long-range characters like Celestine or Crocell or Zephy, just because they may have less of a chance of getting poisoned if they're not so close. Raud had said that he's also susceptible to cold, so it may be worth using Celestine for this battle if you have been leveling her up. If you haven't, then that's totally up to you. You may want to use Zephy, because she may be able to alleviate your status effects with some of her recovery magic. And if not, then you always have the option of using items. Raud had suggested healing using the antidotes if you get poison, and that's probably the easiest thing to do if that's becoming a major issue for you. I'm trying to kind of just persevere with the poison, just because I feel that if I got rid of it, it would return not very long after. I'm going to just chain, do what I can here, and if I do happen to not be able to heal Judo in time, then I'll just use some of the other options that I have, such as the revive capsules or whatever it is that I need. I can always switch party members as well, but this seems to be working. As for other attacks, he swipes at you, and he's somewhat powerful. Like I said, I feel like this is the part of the game where things are starting to get a little bit more challenging. So you'll notice that this guy will take a little bit of time to take down, but he's nothing particularly special, I don't think.
Again? If you space out, they'll target you.
I just really need to watch my health here. Don't be afraid to use items. Don't be afraid to try and control your wizards if you feel like you are better off controlling them to get your heals off in time, or whatever it is you think you might need. I'll go ahead and get rid of Celestine's poison, and maybe that will help things along. I'll switch to a more powerful skill as well. That might help do a little bit more damage. But other than that, I don't have a lot of strategy. I've done all of the necessary steps that I always do. Of course, I've leveled up my common board. I've done the grinding in this area. As you can see, when I went through the area, I killed all the enemies, and I gained a couple of levels. So at this point, if you have been doing the grinding and whatnot, you should be right up to par where you should be. So we just need to take the necessary steps to defeat this guy now. There are bomb boxes in the area that you may be able to use as well if you want to try and do a little bit more damage to him, but I find that that's kind of risky, especially in a boss battle, just because you do run the risk of blowing yourself up as well. And I'm just not really willing to take that risk, especially because the bomb boxes do 600 or 700 damage, which is a lot for one party member, considering that we have just over 1000 HP for each character. And if I'm using someone like Argo, I might be able to get the battle done faster just because he's got a lot more attack power and it's a little bit easier to chain with him. But better safe than sorry, and it's kind of nice to use this party because I very rarely use Celestine, and Crocell seems to be doing fairly well in the area, so I think I'll keep him out for a little while.
I'll take care of this.
I use Argo a lot, so I need to give my other party members a chance.
I'm pretty good.
Next up is Darkblade Fortress.
Alright, so once again, everybody has moved. And I'm going to pick up a couple of treasure chests before we end the video. There's going to be a chest with an HP level 2 common in it on one side of this little fortress that we've come to. And there's also going to be another treasure chest at the back of the fortress with 2000 Sid in it, which you can use to replenish any of the supplies you may have used for that battle. On the mini-map, you can see that there is a dead end near checkpoint 2. And if you want to walk all the way over for this chest, then you can. There's a lone chest waiting for us at the end that I would like to pick up before advancing on, because it actually has a command in it, which is the command of tenacity, and that is an upgraded version of the command of courage. So that may be a good command for you to pick up. It might be something to put into your common board. And now that I'm back at the checkpoint, I think I'll end things off here. We only have a very short distance to go until we get to Darkblade Fortress, and that's our final destination for all of Dunan Hill, so I think we've made pretty good time here, and we should be out of this place before we know it, which is pretty exciting stuff. So I hope that you will join me in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.